Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so good to be here with all of you on this strange day. It is so good to be here with all of you. It's also wonderful to have our Cantor Emeritus back on our bima. Welcome, Cantor Barrick. Delighted to be in Shabbat with you. And Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Read today from the dissenting opinion. The majority has overruled Roe and Casey for one and only one reason, because it has always despised them, and now it has the votes to discard them, wrote Justices Breyer, Sotomayor, and Kagan. The majority thereby substitutes a rule by judges for the rule of law. In overruling Roe, this court betrays its guiding principles. With sorrow and for this court, but more for the many millions of American women who have today lost a fundamental constitutional protection, we dissent. And so do we. We dissent. As we gather for Pride Shabbat, I want you all to, for a moment, close your eyes and travel with me just a few miles from here to Castro and Market. There, if you can picture it, there is a huge, beautiful flag of rainbows that blows in the wind. And on the slope of Twin Peaks, a pink triangle carefully placed by activists each June. Now let's go to New York in 1969 on Christopher Street, where LGBT people, mostly young adults, stood up for themselves and all of us in an important and historic act of resistance. And now to Chicago, around the same time when a group of women known as the Janes organized to provide women with access to safe abortion care, eventually learning how to perform them themselves at great personal risk. Open your eyes. Each of us, each of you, is that rainbow flag. We are those young people resisting violence. We are women organizing to help other women. Yes, our rights may be under attack. We see that the right to abortion is the right to marriage equality, is the right to trans youth to be safe at school, is the right for Black people to live without fear of police violence. Remember, pride lives at the intersection of protest and joy. So we have to live there too. We are not giving up. We are Jewish, we are San Francisco. And in the words of Rebecca Solnit, hope is a gift you don't have to surrender, a power you don't have to throw away. As we enter Shabbat, to find in it our strength for protest and joy, I would like to invite our president, Ellen Fleischacker, and any other women or people with a uterus in the room who would like to light our candles by bringing in Shabbat and have some light together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר, להדליק נר של שבת.
Thank you all for bringing your light into Shabbat with us. And We're going to hang in there together. We're going to welcome the Shabbat bride on page 20 with the words of Lecha Dodi. Please sing with us and bring joy and love into our space.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor בדיבור אחד ישמענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד שם ותפארת ולי תהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכוונך כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולתו אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We are on page 24.
Please join in for Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi הקדוש ברוך הוא בכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי היום ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך ברכוני ושלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי היום ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי העליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Wow, it's really nice to be in the Bima with you, Rabbi Rodich, Cantor Barak. I'm Rabbi Jonathan. We're kind of bringing people back as we get through COVID little by little. And this Pride Shabbat, as we also acknowledge our sense of disappointment, discouragement, horror, all those feelings, we still want to hold on to hope. And so we're reading a few readings from this Siddur that was put together at Shar Zahav by Rabbi Camille Angel, who's also a member here at Emanu-El. And so this prayer is from there. It's called Rainbow. When I see a rainbow, the flag flying from the lamppost, fluttering in the Pacific breeze, I know that God made a covenant between us. If we lived our lives in black and white, we would never see that promise that God made. To see all those colors together, it reminds me that the holy is there for you and for me. We rise to praise that creator of color, that creator of diversity of all these beautiful people. We turn to Baruch Hu on page 28.
And another reading from the Shar Zahav Siddur. This is called Twilight People, in recognition of Ma'ariv Aravim, the blessing for light and creation in the evening. As the sun sinks and the colors of the day turn, we offer a blessing for the twilight. For twilight is neither day nor night, but in between. We are all twilight people. We can never be fully labeled or defined. We are many identities and loves, many genders and none. We are in between roles at the intersection of histories, or between place and place. We are crisscrossed paths of memory and destination, streaks of light swirled together. We are neither day nor night. We are both, neither and all. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, and widen our vision. May this in-between light illuminate our way to the God who transcends all categories and definitions. May the in-between people who have come to pray be lifted up into this twilight. We cannot always define, we can always say a blessing. Blessed are you, God of all, who brings on the twilight.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיר בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
Page 32.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. מאהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם
Please be seated. We continue on page 36 with Via Hafta, another blessing for love.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושילמתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And we continue on page 40 with Micha Mocha, the song that always reminds us that we can get through the sea, that we can leave Egypt behind, the proverbial Egypt, and get to the promised land, get to a place of promise. Page 40.
בוקע בים לפני משה ומרים, צאלי ענו ויאמרו, צאלי ענו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נטר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה.
On this Shabbat, we also want to turn our hearts to those in need of healing in our community. We think of Frank Friedman, Rusty Holden, Harris Weinberg, Alan Axe, John Whelan, Adam Spiegel, Stephen Kreisman, Adrian Garcia, Aaron Nunez, Irma Rodriguez, Burton R. Jackson, Nancy Alpert, and any others our congregation would like to share tonight.
רפואה שלמה, אל נא רפאנה לנו, אל נא רפאנה לו, אל נא רפאנה לה, רפואה שלמה.
And as we sing together the words of Hashkivenu, a blessing for a sukkah is what this prayer asks for, a sukkah of peace. And so let's all hold that in our heads. What is it to imagine a sukkah, a shelter over all of us? And maybe you're a person who believes that God builds that, or maybe you're a person that has your doubts about that, so you're the one that builds it. But however it gets there, we imagine together this sense of protection and love and justice.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום. מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
We use prayer to praise, prayer for gratitude. I need prayer right now for support and help renew us in our efforts. And this meditation on page 47, in the middle of the page, it speaks to that. Before we get ready for the Amidah, where we'll rise and we'll do the first three prayers on page 48 on together, then we'll be in our own silent prayer and just take that time. Use that prayer space for yourself. The prayer book remembers just a suggestion. You can leave it and be in your own prayer too. Let's read this in the middle together. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. We rise, whether here or at home, for the Amidah, page 48.
Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו וקדמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית מחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנת לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך אתה מלך אדון לכל השלום וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל
Take a deep breath, everybody. Shabbat shalom. You know, as we all take in the news of the Supreme Court's decision depriving American women's right to control their bodies, I want to share some personal stories about pride from the perspective of an ally, and understand that state by state, we can make a difference despite this setback. And the work will have to be done now, state by state. And we have to not lose hope nor confidence that we can bring change. I've loved the emails I've gotten from different Jewish organizations saying, everybody take a breath. Take that breath again, you guys. Now think of it. When we think about pride, I want us to think about how far we've come in the last few years. We've made progress that at certain points I never believed would have been possible. And yes, as we know, how far we have yet to go. There's much to be proud of, but we can't let our guards down, because that progress, whenever you make progress among certain groups, ask our African American allies, then you come under attack. And extremists who see an anti-LGBTQ plus expression as an opportunity to normalize their hate, well, they remind me as if I'm hearing echoes of Weimar Germany in this country, when groups with monikers like the Proud Boys, similar to Hitler's brown shirts, accused of being part of the plan to attack the Capitol on January 6th. Well, they were just 25 miles from this Bima a fortnight ago, trying to attack a drag queen public library children's book reading, as if they could stop freedom and be popular for doing so. If we've learned anything in the last century, we should know that oppressing LGBTQ plus people, like oppression against Jews, it's a canary in the coal mine of democracy. So let us be clear that the attempts to bring about a stop of the progress, it's not just on the extreme. You can see from today that it's seeping into the mainstream conservative political expression. We're all going to read carefully Justice Thomas's statement as he supported the decision of the court, saying that, well, maybe we need to take a second look at the laws that brought about equal marriage and contraception as well. In the face of such advocacy of judicial activist discrimination, really ultimately promoting one religious perspective in this country over another, and in the face of hate on the part of the extreme, we can't be passive, we can't be silent, but we can still move forward and take our stand and not forget that we're actually in the majority of Americans who want to promote these rights. And state by state, we can make a difference. Im Tirtzu Einzo Agada, Theodore Herzl wrote in his first book, "If you will it, it's no dream." And that teaching reminds me, as Herzl knew, about the power of the collective when you're determined, and yes, you're going to meet challenges along the way. I'm going to go back to 2009. At my previous pulpit, Rabbi Beth and I worked in Seattle, Washington, at Temple Beth Am. And we offered our facility then as a meeting place for gay religious leaders to gather as they were working on equal marriage opportunities in the state. As an ally, I popped in to greet them. And then, in my perhaps inelegant way, which is my norm of being, I said, folks, we can't just talk. We can't just send letters to the editor. Let's get out there. Pro-marriage equality clergy, we shouldn't be in the closet either. Let's march down the streets of Seattle, downtown, as a united interfaith group and call out the others. Counter the perception that the right wing has promoted that they're the majority, this anti-gay view, but that we're really the majority in this city and in this state. I left the room. There was a lot of talk, and actually they organized the march. And a few weeks later, a few hundred of us, primarily clergy, walking with a chuppah at the front, marched for gay marriage down the streets of downtown Seattle. And I got to carry the sign, which I've kept all these years, as I walked with the Episcopal Dean of the church through that town. Now, Reinhold Niebuhr taught in one of my most influential books I read in college, Moral Man and Immoral Society, That when you open your mind to the humanity of those whom you see as the other, when you meet them and experience them in person as a fellow human being, you're transformed. I'm going to go back even further. It was 1998. My first contract at the synagogue in Seattle was up. I told the president before I would renew that I'd begin performing gay marriages on the bima in the sanctuary there, whether legal or not. And this very liberal guy back then was taken aback, wasn't sure about it. I wrote about it in the congregational newsletter, and wouldn't you know it, that the first test couple to step forward, they weren't the ones you want to be your model. The brassy lesbian choir member who people found annoying asked me, will you do our wedding? And I couldn't say no. I got ready, and then I didn't realize that she then, Jane Vosk, she invited the entire congregation to come to the wedding. And that day, the synagogue was filled to the brim. It was a beautiful, holy moment. A leader who opposed my stand came up afterwards and cried on my shoulder, exclaiming, this liberal person who opposed gay marriage, now I understand. And that day, the temple changed for good. Finally, in Pirkei Avot, Hillel said, if I'm not for myself, who am I? If I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Our work for marriage equality led to one of the proudest moments of my career. The Washington State House and Senate decided to take up the question of the right to gay marriage. It was now 2012, and I was asked to testify there in the Senate. The testimony was broadcast. I appeared right after the Catholic Archbishop, who spoke out against the bill, saying, any attempt to redefine marriage ignores the origin, purpose, and value of marriage. And then I got to go up after this guy and say, I can't have the state infringe of my religious liberty as our Jewish community believes it's our sacred obligation to sanctify these same-sex relationships under the law of marriage. The Senate committee chair then declared, clearly there's a religious disagreement here. He didn't know the word for machloket. And we've got to take religion out of this. And so they kicked us out. A month later, they passed the marriage equality bill inside the House and Senate. It passed. But then the opponents of us put the measure on the ballot. And so our synagogue, along with many other houses of worship, sprung into action. We became a phone bank center, working thousands of calls in its favor. And on election day, Washington State voted with a 57% majority to stop oppressing LGBTQ plus citizens, and equal marriage was realized. We have to understand, we're going to stand up for the woman's right to choose. The battle will be in the states, and too many of us as liberals have ignored the states and focused on the national. And we're learning what we can do. Rabbi Tarfon said, it's not ours to complete the work. Neither are we free to desist from it. Despite our progress, we see today how fragile freedom is. All the work that we've done to achieve these rights, they're under attack. And the attack is from the state. When a community bans children's books in which the main character is two fathers or mothers, they're using state power to sow the seeds of oppression. Did you know that one of the books banned in the state of Florida has this title? The Purim Superhero. Because the child in the book has two dads. In Florida, they're banning books on Purim in the 21st century. Well, when you teach kids or teachers, they can't say gay to children because they're too young. The state's creating a second-class citizenry in this country. It's denying the vision that all of us are created equal. And we know it's not a big jump from oppressing LGBTQ plus people to doing the same to people of color, Jews, Muslims, API Americans, and today what we learn, and women too. Those Proud Boys would like to be protesting right in front of the synagogue too, believe you me. I know that some of us may be tired of always having to struggle. We may wonder why when we win a right, do you have to keep defending it? Well, isn't that what Moses learned at Mount Sinai? You have to keep carrying the Torah forward. You can't give up as you're bringing the good forward. The holy needs you to be strengthened and keep carrying it forward. And in the Parsha this week, the Israelites go into the promised land. They send the spies in, and they come back with reports that it's a beautiful place, but it's filled with giants who might prevent us from realizing our dream. And Caleb says, we can overcome them. But the people live in fear. And they end up spending 40 years in the wilderness because they got tired of the struggle. Well, we've made amazing progress. There's so much reason for pride. And we have to keep doing the work. We have to keep struggling because freedom is a benefit that needs constant guarding. All of us as minorities understand there's always someone trying to take away your rights. But when we stand together and we stand for justice and hope and for goodness and for our moral values, we don't stand alone. Read the statistics. Most Americans want to support the right to choose and the right to equal marriage. When we work little by little, state by state, then nationally, when we're united for something good, and that good, like anything, is possible. They're not giants. I don't care if they're wearing robes. They're bullies. But with our voice together, we can stand up and push them back. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, well, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody that you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're gone. Some girls grow up strong and bold. Some boys are quiet and kind. Some race ahead, some follow behind. Some grow in their own space and time. Some women love women, and some men love men. Some raise children, some dream of the day, never reaching the end of everything possible for you. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts or games, but seek out spirits true. If you give your friends the best part of yourself, they will give the same back to you. You can be anybody that you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you've gone. Will be the love you leave behind when you've gone.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you for your beautiful words. It's really meaningful to me to be a rabbi and have a straight guy senior rabbi who says stuff like that. It really is. It really is. It's important to say. I'd love to invite all of our LGBTQ plus any other letter I don't yet know about up to the bima for a blessing. Come on up. Come on, all the way up, all you gorgeous LGBTQ people. We're so glad you're here. Come on up if you'd like to, even closer, up to the ark. Come on, don't be shy. It is so good to see all of you here. We were not always welcomed on bimas, right? We were not always gathering like this, and it is so beautiful to just notice that here we are, Jews and people that love Jews, on this bima in front of our Torah, and you all are beautiful. So I want to ask God, the God of rainbows, the God of drag queens, the God of justice, the God of love, the God who sees the goodness in each of you and each of us, the God who will help us get past this difficult moment in time, who will help us carry forward our pride for ourselves and for all people, to bless each of you with peace, with love, with courage, to carry, as Rabbi Jonathan said, our Torah forward in these times. We offer you these ancient words of blessing. May God bless you and may God protect you. May God's presence always be with you, and may God be gracious to you. And may God's face shine upon you, and most of all, may you have the blessing of shalom, the blessing of wholeness in your hearts and wholeness in our world. Together we say, Amen. Yeah, this was the Elenu. This was a hope for the future. It's better than the Elenu. We'll send you back to our seats.
Ta-da. Well, we get ready as well for Kaddish now. On page 291, think of the stars. Stars up above, so far away, we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people we love. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are lights that keep guiding us. As we live our days, these are ways we remember. This Shabbat, we're saying Kaddish for the Shloshim, offering comfort to those who had lost in this last month as they mourn Ken Kramer's, Marvin Brenner, Harold Stein, Hal, who was president here from 1998 to 2001, Eli Shalmazeda, Svetlana Gorlick, Josh Jensen, Matthew Benjamin Kassoff, A.B. Yehoshua, Robert Benjamin, Mally Klepper, and Carol Cosgrove. May their families be comforted. And then into the yard site, the anniversary of the passing of these loved ones, may their memory be part of that light that keeps guiding us forward. We honor the memory of Lloyd S. Ackerman Jr., June Baker, Jean Camp Barron, Dorothy Berlin, Sarah Berman, Edith Block, Sophie Brayman, Samuel Brownstein, Zelda Calvin, Robin Chalberg, Joan Cohen, Sarah Colton, Hiram Dorfman, Stanley Ehrlich, Bernard Elson, Lucy Feld, Avram Finger, Sigmund Finkler, Rose Fisher, Jean Gauzer, Benjamin Geltner, Claire Goldman, Regina Hartog, Martin Herman, Gerald Hershenson, Joan Heskiel, Yuri Jaffe, Thelma Lee Carson, Gabrielle Max Casiola, Jacob Kayak, James Butler Knox, Ruth Krischer, Yuri Crystal, Sheldon Israel Lewis, Barry Lynn, Rebecca Melner, Alma Eric Miller, Eleanor Brisker Mindel, Jean Mizell Stideford, Evelyn Monroe, Aaron A. Pick, Rachel Pritikin, Ida Gold Revo, Madeline Rosen, Shirley Rosen, Philip Rosenbaum, Lucy Rothenberg, Marilyn Sable, Samuel A. Saltiel, Tibor Schwartz, Phyllis Shorenstein, Walter H. Shorenstein, Robert H. F. Smith, Nancy Steiner, Naomi Groper Steiner, Ruth Tidal Wintraub, Paulina Torgoviskaya, Marjorie Taub, Eva Korper Versanger, Cecilia Weidman, Philip Weinberg, Henry Wellner, Joseph Mordecai Wolf, and Irene Zemanek. If you're saying Kaddish for someone whose name wasn't mentioned as I point my talit towards you, please call out their name and their relationship to you, or put their name into the chat at home. We rise for our Kaddish prayer. You can find it in your prayer books on page 294. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, ve'almad yivrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah v'rach le'olam u'mei omaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitraman, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shmei Dekudsha, Brichu, Le'elam Mimko, Birchata, Shirata, Tush Bechata, V'nechemata, Damiran Be'alma, V'imru.
Amen. יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. Please join in as we sing the song you all should know by now. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
Put your arm around somebody, guys. Come on.
Over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Scott Cantor. Wow, thank you so much. Well, we have Kiddush. Steve McGurn, are you there? Can you bring the Kiddush cup up, please? And I don't know if is our whole custodial crew here, our team, if you guys could come up too, and any other rabbis or cantors present as well. But Steve, can you bring the Kiddush cup right up here? And you guys come up too. Come stand over here, Steve. It's front and center. Steve, how many years have you been bringing the Kiddush cup to that table?
Oh, I forget, but I think it's 33.
33 years. Steve has been bringing the Kiddush cup to the table, been helping make it all happen with this amazing team led by Fabian. We just are so blessed to have everybody here. They are just so amazing. They helped get us through COVID and all this. And like some people at the end of COVID, they're thinking after 33 years, they might want to only come now and then on a Saturday as a retired guy. Is that you?
Yes. Yeah.
So we are despondent about that. We really are. But yet we're also so happy for you because you've done this work with pride, with dignity, with caring. You've been so supportive of all of us. We all love working with you. And we just want to wish you a bracha, a great blessing in your retirement. And know that I want you to go off with your arts and your travels and all those things that you want to enjoy. But remember that the Kiddush is about sanctifying a community. And that's what you've done all these years, is you've helped sanctify us, just as all of you do. And you've got a long time to go, so keep going, guys. But we want to ask Rabbi Beth and Rabbi Rodish to give you this blessing.
Well, we ask God's blessing on all of you. And Steve, to you in particular, you have just been such a model of modesty and graciousness, and you have these outsized gifts as an artist, and you just get stuff done around here. And I just, want to pray for you so many more years and decades of life to get up every day and think, well, what do I feel like doing today? And that's what you should do.
And I just want to add to that such gratitude for all you've done, and from the bottom of my heart, wishes for a really fun retirement. You have earned it. We want to offer the words of Shehechianu for arriving at this time and in this place. It's our blessing for just noticing that we made it right here to this moment.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu
v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Steve, you got to keep holding that. We're going to do Kiddush right now.
And I know him longer than anybody up here. Okay, I was here first.
Go ahead, Cantor.
Baruch
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Amrei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קירשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
L'chaim. Take a drink, Steve.
Yeah, take off the mask. Half pound.
All right. Mazel tov. Everyone say mazel tov to Steve. Wow. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if we have any announcements. I am leading a trip to Morocco. If anyone wants to come in November, it should be a pretty amazing journey. A safe place to go, and just a chance to experience the past, also the Moroccan Jewish community today. There's a recent article in the New York Times about what's happening there. It's fascinating. But we're grateful to have Shabbat together, and we break bread together, and we're just grateful. And again, for all of God's creation, let's not lose courage. Shabbat is about renewing your hope. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'tei avon, bring your prayer books back to the prayer book cart. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom.